Alright critics, I want you to raise the hand if you liked the new Spongebob game.
It just ain't right!
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and have you ever noticed that in the video game industry, there is always this sense of elitism among video game reviewers, how they view gamers as essentially second-class citizens. The list is long and ever-growing of video game reviewers, people who are paid to serve the video game community, calling, just calling out gamers, TM, in a negative light. And perhaps another, no better example of this is a brand new video game review on GameSpot, which is, of course, about Spongebob. So this was brought to my attention. The author of this review is Funky Joseph. Don't know if that's their real name or not. Doesn't matter. So there's a tweet here by GameSpot. We regret to inform you that Spongebob SquarePants game is not worth the trip. Our review. Then they go to review. Now, a lot of times you end up with, how do you say, rage bait in an industry. I myself know, struggling mightily to get people to visit exclusivelygames.com for months because we wouldn't print anything divisive. You see the replies, wah, Spongebob game too hard for me. Stick to playing movie games, bro. And it is a 2 out of 10. Let's see how the rest of this goes. Meanwhile, IGN, meanwhile it gave IGN 5 out of 10. IGN gave it a 5 out of 10 and said it was too kid-friendly. Which one is it? Too hard or too kid-friendly? It can't be both. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is a remastered version of the original game. Do not head into the game expecting new mechanics and features. Do not let reviewers intimidate you from buying it. From my experience, the game is an 8 out of 10 at least, or at best, sorry. Please understand that as a reviewer myself, I find this review to be very undeserving of this score. While opinions do exist and I respect every fellow reviewer, I do believe this review was a rushed job and much thought and care was not put into it. GamePot. Hey, GameSpot. Hey, Patrick, what am I? Stupid? I mean, it's just absolute destruction. Destruction. Bruh. The good. Strong voice acting performances from the original game still do a lot of heavy lifting. Entertaining boss fights that are funny and full of life. The bad. Dull moment-to-moment gameplay, stubborn controls that show their age. Collectibles are either too simple or too tedious, and they aren't rewarding. Combat interactions can feel incredibly unfair, and death is unforgiving in the worst way. But here, Spyro Reignited. Gorgeous graphical enhancements, much more animation and personality to every character. You have, it's interesting to me. People love this game, and is the review bad? That's not what I'm mostly interested in. What I'm mostly interested in this reviewer's response and arguing with fans. This is not exactly what I would expect from, how do you say, a video game reviewer. I mean, gamers read your website, right? But you have this, you're retweeting pictures of people with their face. Not this grown man mad at my SpongeBob review. How are you grown adult mad at a SpongeBob review? Bro, start a family.
Tell her like it is, SpongeBob. No more baby stuff.
I mean, what? I'm unemployed right now. I got time to be mad. Not you too. I don't get it. I don't get it. Seriously, a review is awful. Maybe consider looking for a new job. 2, how in the world can you justify that score? You give it a 2 out of 10. And he's blocking people, or they are blocking people. I don't really know who this person is. I know they walk their cat, though, which is cool. I respect that. I respect that, Funky McFly. There's a picture of you walking your cat. Much love. So I'm going to go a little easier on you. But it's interesting to me. I honestly don't care about hate. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's why you're tweeting out, you're retweeting people who are mad, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you do care. I don't care about hate. People can have their opinions. But it's shocking to me how mad gamers, again, I love it when video game journalists who are paid to write articles for gamers use gamers in this case as a pejorative, I think, will get at stuff like this and yet not pay attention to the effing disgusting abuse, misconduct, and harassment ingrained in this industry. Prioritize, sis, please. What? So you try to deflect your terrible review score by saying what? There's more important things in the world right now? Then why'd you put out the review at all? I mean, is that your position? Is that your official position? That there are more important things in the world right now, so we shouldn't care about video game reviews? This is just a really bad take. And your overall review here, a nostalgia trip that nobody should pack their bags for. And you see here, I mean, the original game is a huge classic, early 2000s release. People have a lot of fun replaying this, but a 2 out of 10 is a terrible. You know, it's interesting to me. I actually want to pull this up on Metacritic and look at what the original Spongebob. Here you have Rehydrated. You have a user review score battle going on here. Another classic reviewers versus the consumers. You have a 9.2 user score. The Metacritic is 67, so it is mixed. You know, and none of these reviews are really giving it a massive score. You know, it's not like there's a lot of 100 out of 100s. But what we have here is an 85, 85, 85, 80, 80, 80. Okay, this is probably an 80 game, right? But let's see who wants to stand out. We got this covered. We got this covered? Are you joking right now? Metacritic is bringing in game reviews from We Got This Covered, an industry rag website that is never published anything with any factual basis. And you're baking that in here. I mean, IGN gave it a 5, which isn't a great score either. But GameSpot, remasters, ports, and remakes are nice because they make games more accessible to new audiences. And ones that excel, understand some basic features of the game's era, are antiquated and should be updated or removed. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, Rehydrated, flops like a fish out of water when it comes to this. It's a game so focused on emulating and embellishing the original that it doesn't know the parts of itself that are fun and the parts that aren't. It lost sight of the basic elements that made collectible platformer enjoyable. This game doesn't promote curious or keen gameplay. The movement isn't smooth. The gathering collectibles never feels rewarding. Ultimately, the game winds up being unpleasant nostalgia trip that nobody should pack their bags for. I mean, it's interesting. Certainly, people are allowed to have their opinions. Now, if you want to look at this, the overwhelming review scores, I would say, are middling. If you take out the 85s and you take out the 20s, it's a 70 to 80 game, which is probably reasonable. Nonetheless, the review itself is probably a little harsh. A 2 out of 10 seems a little rough, but it's not, you know, it's not what everyone, 2 out of 10, terrible. Average rating, 5. These are user reviews. And of course, let's check out the comment section. Who the heck is this incompetent fool that played the game? And I thought IGN had idiotic reviews. This game needs someone more competent to reevaluate it. GameSpot needs to find more competent video game players as reviewers than this one. I can forgive this reviewer for not liking the jokes or them growing old on him, but he clearly doesn't know how to play the game if he can't adapt to mechanics. It isn't a big part of video games to learn and adapt gameplay mechanics. The ones summed up in the review don't seem broken at all, but the reviewer is unable to learn. The game is by no means perfect or absolutely excellent, but this review contains some seriously invalid points. RIP GameSpot. It's an old game with newer graphics. This review seems off. Crash got the same treatment, and there was no new gameplay that got great reviews. Why is this game being mistreated like this? I mean, Crash may have aged better, as this commenter points out. I ended up canceling my pre-order because of this review. I saw GameSpot's 2 out of 10 and assumed it must be absolutely horrendous since it's 6 points lower than what they give literally everything else. But I'm glad to see other reviews are all 8 out of 10s. I never trust the reviews. Lol, I don't know why I did here. I'll go pick it up today. Well, that was a fun journey, wasn't it? I mean, that was kind of a fun trip they took us on. So it'll be interesting. I mean, SpongeBob SquarePants, is it my kind of game? No. Do I think it's good to argue with gamers when your job is to cater to them from a traffic standpoint? No, I don't think it's great business. Will you be picking up SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated, or will you be focusing on more important things out there than video games? Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.